Hi there, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady, and one of the scariest things that I've heard from a lot of my clients that are moving to the Valley of the Sun is, what about the monsoon season? Hi, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady at EXP Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate. And if you've never heard of the monsoon season in the Valley or Arizona in general, what happens is during the summer months mostly, I think the National Weather Association has deemed it between June 15th and September 30th, I believe. So that's when you have more likely to get big thunderstorms in the afternoon. You can get them any time of day, but a lot of times it's the afternoon, it's the evening, and these can cause dust storms, thunderstorms, flash flooding. So that's pretty much what monsoon season is. Now there's a lot of hazards that can come out of these big storms. So that's what I want to educate you on, because a lot of people moving here are just not aware of the threats that really do happen. And I should say the threats that you face during the monsoon season. So, sorry, I'm distracted. I hear someone talking over there and it's throwing me off. So sorry about that. So anyhow, during the monsoon season, one of the major threats is going to be these dust storms. So monsoon is a season. It comes from an Arabic word that means season. So during the monsoon season, part of the storm concern is a big wall of dust that moves across the desert. And what happens is the wind will start picking up dust from the outlying areas and it just pushes it across the valley. If you see this coming, really you should get off the roadways, go into a home, go into a building. I remember back 10 years ago, I was stuck inside because this big giant dust storm was coming through and you couldn't even see the car parked in the parking lot. So certainly don't want to be out in that. Hey, hello Arizona, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady, and I hope that you're enjoying the content here on the monsoon weather. So if you are, please subscribe to my page, click the bell, and you'll be notified when there are new videos dropped. Have a great day, and always reach out to me. You can text me, call me, or just drop a message here. And my cell number is 602-330-5856. Have a great day. Now, when these walls of dust come across, you might hear them called haboobs. So that is, I believe, another term for, dust storm in the Middle East. So these haboobs, as they come across, and also we used to just call them dust storms, but the newscaster started calling them haboobs about 8 to 10 years ago. So I know it might sound funny if you've never heard the term before, but so these dust storms will come across the valley. They're beautiful to see when the helicopters take the pictures of them. But if you see them, again, go inside or get off the road. If you happen to be driving, you see one it starts looking like there's a lot of wind and a lot of dust. Here's some advice, okay? I'm gonna give you a couple tips. Number one, slow down, but don't start brake checking because the person behind you might not react the same way. So a lot of people will have car accidents during these dust storms. So if it gets to a point where you really can't see, then you want to pull off the road. And I've read on many different resources that you should pull over and you should put your car in park, but take your foot off of the brake, turn off of your lights, because if you have your lights on and you have your foot on the brake, people might think that that's the lane that they need to drive in, and they may come up right behind you and hit you. So they say pull over and get that foot off the brake. Might even be a good idea to turn your car off, but get far enough off the road where you're out of the way. But make sure that you're slowing down when you start to see these dust storms. So that's number one, is your driving safety. So number two, in Arizona, we have a lot of sun normally. So we have these big umbrellas that are in the backyard. So if you see that one of these storms is starting to move in, and you'll start to see the clouds change and maybe the wind is changing, and you see this wall of dust coming, just close up those umbrellas, because it's not uncommon to find those umbrellas like a block over. So a lot of times you'll end up with people's lawn furniture. I've even heard of trampolines getting picked up and blown over into other people's yards. So make sure that anything you have in your backyard is tied down. although we don't have tornadoes here, these storms often have these microbursts that create a lot of wind in different directions, and they will do damage. They've been known to rip off roofs and lift things up and move them over into other yards. So just be really aware that we do have this strong weather system that does happen during those months. So it's about 8 o'clock at night. We definitely have a monsoon rolling in. It's been a light thunder, just kind of a rolling thunder, constant sound for about 10 minutes. And now, really chilly rain and crazy wind. Sheets of rain where if you have trees that have light watering and not deep-rooted watering, they tend to spring for lots of mosquitoes, lots of there goes my patio. Oh shoot. Big time. Slide going across the yard. Hurry.
I just have to put it down.
Yeah. So we have one of these big heavy heaters, and it was just sliding across the yard. Well, I shouldn't say the yard, sliding across the patio. And so was this iron chair here. So that's how you can kind of protect the backyard area there. Another thing that I want to talk to you about during monsoon season is the floods. So a lot of people don't understand that in Arizona, when it rains, it floods. And the reason why it floods in these washways and in lower lying roads is because underneath the dirt, there's something called caliche. So the caliche hardens up, and it can be a couple feet deep, I guess, just things that I've read over the years. So what happens is the water can't penetrate that. So the water just keeps building up, and these monsoon seasons bring a ton of water. So as the water builds up, then it's gonna flood. It's gonna fill those washes and then low-lying roads. And we do have a stupid motorist law in Arizona. I know that might sound funny, but it's actually a really serious problem. We were having people that would go, oh, that's no big deal, I'm just gonna drive across it. What they don't understand is what you see the water right now, within seconds and minutes, it can just rise really, really fast. I saw this happen one time when I was in Desert Hills and I was out showing property, and I saw the wash, and I look to my right and I just see a ton of water coming. And so it can happen very, very fast. There's actually been a lot of people that have lost their lives this way. And you want to be really aware that if it might not look deep and it might not look like there's a big current there, but there very well could be, and there's more water to come. And that's the part that's scary, is you don't see what's coming down. So there's a stupid motorist law, as I mentioned, that was put in place back in 1995. And that's because the taxpayers were kind of annoyed. We kept paying for all these people to be rescued that were crossing these washes. So now you have to foot that bill if you decide to cross that wash and you have to get rescued. But I would say just don't do it. You're putting people's lives at risk. You're putting yours at risk. Anyone that's in your car with you. We've seen little children being, pulled up off these cars from helicopters and from other rescuers. You're putting the rescuers in danger. So not a good idea. So keep that in mind. Don't cross the washes. And another little tip from a fellow Arizonian, even though you don't see the storm nearby you, you could still have water flowing through these washes. That's the scariest part. Really, really be aware of this if you're up north. In the summer, a lot of people like to escape, go up north, visit. It's cool up there. They'll camp, they'll rent a cabin, and they'll go and be in the creeks up there and might be swimming and have no idea that a storm that is far away is just pouring down rain. And that water is just going to continue to wash down. And then all of a sudden you have a wall of water coming at you and there is no time for you to get up. And we actually have lost, I think the 4 people had died, several were missing, and 4 were rescued in Payson just a few years ago because there was one of those walls of water coming through. So you've got to be really, really aware. And it was the first thing that I taught my son when he was old enough to understand that if you're out there playing in the creek, if you see storm or you hear thunder, you got to get out of the creek. Okay. So when we get flooding and lots of rain, what happens is a lot of times these parks that you see, they have these lower areas in communities so that they can actually collect the water and get it out of the streets. So you see here, the water is running right along here and then coming across and going down here and into the basin there. This is a pretty typical site in most communities, and that's how they manage the water. So just be really, really aware of that. So that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the main things. Don't cross the washes. Dust storms are pretty scary, and they can be pretty scary. The weather usually gets amazing though. I mean, it'll be humid, but most people that are moving here from other areas are used to the humidity. But us locals, we don't like the humidity. It's too hot and humid. But the temperatures will drop. A lot of times the rain is really cool. It's cold rain, so it really feels great, and it's a nice break from the heat. So enjoy the monsoon season. I look forward to it every year. If you have any questions, please feel free, comment here. Have a great day, okay? Be safe out there. Bye. Hi, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady at EXP Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate.